and welcome back to another episode of Action Movies for Dummies. I am your host, MJ, but the man with the info, Shakes.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to our latest episode where we will be covering Tropic Thunder,
Oh, yeah.
which came out in 2008. My man here, MJ, has been telling me about this movie for years. I thought I had seen it, but when I reviewed this movie, no, sir, I had not seen it. So somehow it got past me. Came out in 2008 and it has a killer amount of people in it.
Right.
The actors are, let me just take a minute here and go over them all. We have our main character who also directed and produced the movie, Ben Stiller. We have Jack Black, Robert Downey Jr., Jay Baruchel, Brandon T. Jackson, Steve Coogan, Danny McBride, Bill Hader, Nick Nolte, Matthew McConaughey, Tom Cruise, and we also have cameos by John Voight, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Jason Bateman, Lance Bass, Alicia Silverstone, and Tobey Maguire.
And it actually kickstarted Brandon Jackson's, who's Al Pacino, his acting career.
And this was, I believe, the first movie that Bill Hader had ever been in. Because I saw an interview with him a long time ago, and he was talking about it was his first movie, and there were just all these actors.
Yeah.
He was just felt like he was in way over his head.
I mean, when you look at that cast, you're like, how can they afford that? But then you look, it's Ben Stiller. He knows 90% of these people already. He probably just calls them and is like, hey, you want to be in this bit part real quick? And they're like, all right.
And I forgot to write her name down, but his wife is in it. She played a bit part.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another girl in this movie whose last name is Stiller. I gotta believe, gotta be some kind of relation.
Right.
The estimated production budget for this was $92 million.
Oh my God. Maybe it wasn't as cheap as I thought.
But it ended up grossing $195.7 million.
Holy shit.
It brought in over $100 million.
That's insane. And that's just in the theaters. So you got to imagine what it did when it went to DVD.
Or TiVo.
Or TiVo. Oh, that is a good drop. That is a really good drop. All right, man. We talked it up a little bit. You ready to go?
Let's go.
All right. Before the movie actually opens, we are blessed with trailers, which I thought was fantastic for this movie. The first one is Al Pacino, who is Brandon Jackson, and he's a rapper. And his face is in between two women's ass, and they're shaking, and he's going crazy, and he's promoting his energy drink, Booty Sweat, and his energy bar, Bust a Nut. And the catchphrase is popping ass open.
You know, when you're at the movies, they show you like 20 different trailers before the movie starts.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, just let the movie start. And then they go with this. Oh,
it's such a beautiful touch.
It's so good.
Such a chef's kiss to it, man. It's so good.
And the fact that this entire movie just made fun of Hollywood. I mean, just flat out.
Directly, too, yes. It didn't try to hide it. Aimed right at it.
A complete satire on Hollywood and opening with their own made-up trailers. Brilliant. Ben Stiller's the man.
He absolutely is. The second movie trailer is Tug Speedman, who is our main character, and that is played by Ben Stiller. And he's promoting a movie named Scorcher 6. So he has been in this movie 6 times. The man in action movie announcer voice goes, "The man who makes a difference 5 times before will make a difference again. But this time, it's different." And I fell out when I heard that.
Oh, it's so good because it's that guy who does the voice this summer.
Yeah, he does all the trailers.
Like,
Yeah, all the action
oh,
trailers.
like,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
The next trailer is Jeff Portnoy, and it's Jack Black. And he has a spoof of The Nutty Professor named The Fatties. And it's a sequel where it's a bunch of bad fart jokes. Yeah.
Overweight people farting. That's the entire trailer. And they're all related. That's exactly what this trailer is. It's Jack Black is every character. His family farting and laughing.
It definitely looks like a Jack Black kind of movie.
Oh yeah, it was hilarious. The trailer was great.
Yeah. The next trailer is Kurt Lazarus, and that's JDR. And he is playing in a movie about a gay couple in the church. And a small cameo part for his lover is former Spider-Man Tobey Maguire.
And they give Robert Downey Jr. these like crystal blue contact lenses.
Yes.
And it's hard to look at. And blonde hair. And he's speaking Australian. And
it is hilarious.
It's like Brokeback Mountain, but with monks.
Good description. Very good description.
It's pretty much what it is.
So now the movie actually opens to a raspy voice telling us that in the winter of '69, an elite troop of men were tasked to a rescue mission for Sergeant Forleith Tyback of a heavy guarded NVA prison camp, and the mission was considered near suicide. Out of the 10 men sent, 4 returned. Out of the 4, 3 wrote a book. Out of the 3, 2 were published. Out of the 2, 1 was being made into a movie. And this was the attempt at making that movie. Scene cuts to a chopper flying in and some Nam music playing in the background. As they go to land, all hell breaks loose. The chopper is then firing missiles and dodging missiles, while the men on the chopper then start firing miniguns. We then see the men on the ground getting blown away as the chopper comes in to land, and we see Lazarus, who is now a black guy somehow, fighting off the enemies, covering the choppers as it lands. He has a small fro, he is dark-skinned, and he no longer has the blue eyes. He has contacts in, and he's talking like a Nam soldier. He's like, get some, come get some. It is the most bizarre thing you will ever see in your entire life.
The character he is playing is like a black man from New Orleans.
Yes.
I mean, that's exactly, it's such a stereotype. It's offensive in all the right reasons. Like, it gets called out on how offensive it is.
Multiple times.
Like, that was well done.
Yes.
But when I saw this, I was like, oh
no.
No. There are so many offensive things in this movie. We're not going to dig too deep into it. We're going to poke at it and then walk away.
Yes, absolutely. We then see Portnoy and Kevin Sandusky, played by Jay Belcher, laying down cover for a man as he's on the radio for support. We then hear a ping and the man falls over, and we see blood spewing from a bullet hole in the back of his head.
This blood spray just wouldn't stop. It was like somebody took a garden hose and shoved it into his helmet. It just kept, it was like a geyser. It just kept going and going.
Portnoy tries to stop the bleeding with his fingers as Sandusky's freaking out. Portnoy tells him to call for help, but Sandusky is in shock. Portnoy snatches him up and tells him, hop on the horn, call us in that snake and get us some boom boom now. As Sandusky tries the radio for help, an enemy charges him with a bayonet. He turns and shouts, "What the fuck?" as an enemy rams the bayonet into his guts and just starts cutting him open, pulling out his guts. Chino then shoots this enemy from behind. Sandusky says he thinks he can put his guts back in himself. Chino is dragging a dead soldier back to the chopper. Portnoy is carrying Sandusky. Lazarus is still laying down cover. As they're moving, Chino says, "I don't see Foley." Portnoy says, "Don't count him out. The man's got luck tattooed to his ass." Oh my god, this movie is so good. Lazarus is getting everyone into the chopper, and Sandusky is freaking out over his guts. He's looking at them in his hands.
Yeah, he's just got a whole pile of intestines, and he's questioning, like, the intestines in his hand.
He then points to the tree line and says, "It's Foley." Scene jumps to the tree line, and it's Speedman running out of the trees, and he's getting gunned down platoon style. He drops to his knees, hands to the heaven, gets shot to his back, and falls forward as everybody watches from the chopper. Lazarus says, "Cover me, you dumb limp dick motherfuckers," and he goes after Speedman.
So over the top. Everything about this is over the top.
This is so funny to me. He stiff arm runs. His arms stay by his side straight down, but he's still able to gun men down, even taking the gun, sticking it behind his back, and shooting him as he runs by.
It was so over the top.
As Lazarus gets to Speedman, he begins to carry him, and an enemy pops out of an underground hatch and throws a stick of dynamite at the chopper. But Speedman says no and pushes it away with his hands before it can get to the chopper, and it blows up. The blast blows Portnoy out of the chopper, and he's hanging on to the footrail of this chopper. Lazarus crawls to Speedman with now no hands, as Speedman tries to give his speech, and Lazarus is crying to the point where he's drooling. We then see Portnoy in the background hanging on still, just firing away his gun and yelling. The crying is throwing Speedman off so much that he looks over to the director, Damian Cockburn, played by Stephen Coogan, and asks for a cut. But Cockburn says, "No, we have jets coming in for a big finish. But they heard cut. Everybody starts relaxing. The men on the chopper say, "Hey, are we on cut?" Portnoy is like, "Can we get me out of this thing? It's hurting my ass." So he's still hanging in the air.
He's got this harness giving him a wedgie the entire time.
Scene cuts to Cody, played by Danny McBride, and he's the pyro guy. He's radioing Cockburn and asking him if this is all a go, and he's trying to put Tiger Bomb on these jungles nuts, but he can't get a hold of them. Everyone is out of control, but Cockburn says that they only have one take at this, so Speedman and Lazarus try to lock in once again. But Lazarus is crying and is throwing off Speedman again, and they argue about who's crying and who shouldn't be crying, and they ask the person who is Four-Leaf Tieback if he cried when he had his hands blown up, and he said no, he didn't, as he smokes a cigar, and he has these prosthetics on his arms, and they're not normal hand prosthetics. They are two claws.
Yeah, they're like two fish hooks on each hand. No, but earlier when Speedman gets his hands blown off, he looks at Robert Downey Jr. He's like, "Hold my hands," and they show Robert Downey Jr. holding his wrists, and his hands look like peeled bananas. It's just flesh. There's no hands there.
Lazarus gets pissed and says, "Oh, we're doing rewrites, whatever," and decides to walk off set. And Cockburn follows and tries to get him to come back, but Lazarus turns around, cocks his fist, and says, "Can I go make a pee-pee?" As he goes to make a pee-pee, the jets then come soaring in. Cockburn is pissed off, jumping up and down. He's freaking out. Cody takes that as the signal and starts setting off these explosions, and he is having a blast doing it. He sets off $4 million of explosions, and the cameras were not even rolling.
Oh yeah. But man, he loves some pyro. He loves his job, man.
I love Danny McBride. He plays really good roles. I like him.
Yeah.
Scene cuts to Access Hollywood covering the chaos of the making of this movie. It says it's a month behind schedule and it's just 5 days into shooting because Cockburn can't control his star-studded cast. Speedman is watching this. The story goes into the darker side of everyone. Portnoy was just arrested for drugs. This is where we get the explanation of why Lazarus is now a black man. Lazarus went and did a surgery to permanently change his skin so he can take this role. What the fuck?
Right. They show like this Access Hollywood episode that they have. It's ripping on every single person in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, just ripping on every single one of them, telling you all their problems. It's pretty brilliant because you get every single person's backstory in like a minute solid.
And they go the hardest on Speedman, where they go over his recent flops, including a movie he did named Simple Jack, where he has special needs and he can talk to animals. And his catchphrase is, "You make me happy." I can't help but laugh when I see this shit. It is ridiculous. It's so far over the top.
And yes, I was gonna say the exact same thing. Once again, it's so over the top. It makes it. It almost makes it okay.
Right. Right.
Whoa, and yeah, I struggled with this movie. I'm an offensive guy, and I was offended.
It's amazing.
I use offensive phrases for laughs,
Oh
but
man,
this was like, whoa,
it was
man.
pushing it. It pushes it.
I was like, that's too far, man.
It definitely pushes it.
That's too far.
As he's watching this, he gets a call from his agent, Rick Peck. Matthew McConaughey, which was a shock to Shakes.
Did not see that coming at all. And he's all like California boy. He's got like the bleach blonde tips and his hair's all high and he's just like, all right.
He tells him that he's looking at his ad where he's hugging a panda. He asks if he got the gift basket with the satellite phone in it. They then start talking about his career. He says that Speedman is like the kid with lice. And Speedman says, what? He says, yeah, nobody wants to play with you right now, but we got to shave your head and get you back in there.
and as he's sitting there talking to him, you get to look around his office and it's just Scorcher 6.
Yeah, it's all Speedman stuff.
Like promo posters.
Clearly, he's his number one client.
And fan.
Yeah.
And fan. And he's even got one with Simple Jack that like it's
the little sign that moves. Oh my god.
Yes.
They talk about the crying scene and about how bad it went, but Peck tries to pep talk Speedman and says, hey man, if he cries, you cry harder. He then asks about the TiVo. Speedman says, no, they didn't set it up yet, and Peck gets pissed off and promises him he will get his TiVo. He then asks about the adoption, and Speedman says it's not going well. And Peck says to get back to it and they will talk later. The funny thing I found about this one, he's talking about the adoption, and Speedman goes, yeah, it's not going well. And he's looking at a picture of him and his son is just staring off into the distance while he's engaging, smiling in the picture. And he goes, huh, at least you get to pick yours. And so they knew what jokes would land, and they were like, all right, this is gonna push the boundary a bit, but let's go ahead and shoot. Like
the kid looked like he was special needs, which is probably why he was all behind him doing the Jack roll.
that would make sense.
Yeah.
That would make sense. Oh man. That would definitely make sense. Oh man, you're picking up pieces, brother.
I may be looking too much into it because I don't think that movie's this deep, but I would like to hope that's how it went.
Scene cuts to Cockburn and Rob Shalom, who's played by Bill Hader, and they're going to a meeting where they're going to meet the executive Les Grossman, a made-up and a slightly fat suit and hairy Tom Cruise. Amazing. This movie is so good with this.
How they got Tom Cruise to play this role, I will never understand.
It's Ben Stiller, baby. Get Ben on the phone. We got him.
I mean, I know, but he's like overweight, got the half moon balding, he's wearing tinted glasses, his arms are hairy as shit. So because of that, he rolls his button-down sleeves up to his elbows, and he unbuttons his top few buttons on his shirt and just exposes all this like hair with gold chains and
he lives up to the name Grossman. I mean, yes. It's insane. It's insane. He, really looks gross and then he acts gross. It's awesome. And Grossman is pissed. So pissed that he tells the biggest man in the room to go and punch Cockburn in the face. Really fucking hard. And he does, and Grossman enjoys this.
The guy walks up to him and he's like, sorry, man.
And just full cock. Bam! Breaks his nose almost instantly.
Like, there's blood everywhere.
Grossman tells him that it's your fault. But Cockburn says, how is it my fault? These actors are out of control. Four-Leaf from the back of the room, definitely Jaw style, comes up with the idea to take the actors into the jungle to put a little fear into them. And that's how they make the movie. Grossman tells Cockburn to get the actors under control or he will shut the movie down. Scene cuts to Cockburn now walking the shoreline. And he's drinking from a bottle. Four-Leaf then starts speaking to him because he is living on the beach in a makeshift tent because beds give him nightmares.
That line made me laugh so hard.
And he's trying to be tough the whole time, this old grizzled veteran. Cockburn comes over and sits down, and Four-Leaf starts to lay out how they will put up cameras in the trees. And him and Cody will plant C4 and smoke grenades all along a path. And they will drop the actors off and they will fill the movie by scaring the shit out of them. Cockburn kind of sees the vision and agrees.
After he said, beds give me nightmares, the guy was looking at him like, what the hell are you talking about? And then he looks at him and he says, you couldn't find a Dixie's coonskin with a Ohio hooker holding your prick and showing you the way.
Scene cuts to Portnoy, Lazarus, Speedman, Chino, and Sandusky all in this chopper, and they're dressed in their character outfits with Cockburn. He tells them that they're no longer actors, but 5 men in a chopper with 3 other men. Because him, Four-Leaf, and Cody were in there. Portnoy asked how long they're going to be out because he left his vitamins back at the hotel. But Four-Leaf says to save your breath, maggot. The chopper lands and the men jump out. As the chopper takes off, Four-Leaf says, see ya in hell.
I love that line.
Portnoy begins complaining, and Cockburn smacks the shit out of him like 4 times. He just front hands, back hands, like 4 times in a row. It's fucking hilarious. He then takes everybody's phone, puts it in a helmet, pours water on it so they can't call out. He then tells them how they're shooting the movie. He gives the map and the scene list to Speedman. Speedman takes the satellite phone from the gift basket he got from Peck and he tucks it. That comes in later. As Cockburn goes to leave, he accidentally steps on an old landmine and blows himself up.
I mean, it was so fast. He's walking, he's like giving him shit. And then he goes to walk away and he shows him the phone that he's holding. And he goes, "This is your only lifeline out of here." And then you hear him step and there's a click and he goes, "Uh-oh." And he, boom.
A group of guerrilla troops hear this and they radio into their camp. The camp responds and says to check it out, so the men load up and move. Scene cuts back to Speedman and his men, and the men are in shock, but Speedman believes it's all part of the movie. As they talk, the guerrilla troops kind of form along the tree line and find him. He radios into his camp and he says, these are military men, they might be DEA. Speedman is still trying to convince everyone that Cockburn is not really dead. Smoke and mirrors, everybody. He even picks up his head as if it's a prop and starts tasting his blood and pulling out the insides, and everybody's kind of freaking out because
He says, "Oh, come on, it's going to taste like corn syrup." And then he tries it and he's like, "Oh, no, this is blood-flavored corn syrup."
he puts the head on the end of his gun and starts like mocking as if he's Cockburn. And the guerrilla troops see this and they're like, holy shit, these guys are not afraid of death. Like, these guys don't care. So the radio comes back in and tells them to bring them in dead or alive. We don't care. We just want them gone. Speedman then takes the head off of his gun and kicks it to prove that it's fake. And Chino lets out the best scream I've ever heard in my life. Oh my God. I cracked up and rewound that spot like 4 times just to hear that scream because it is so good. Scene jumps to Four Leaf and Cody on a mountainside. Cody tries to make small talk, saying, "Oh, I'm your biggest fan," and he tries to ask him about his sidearm. But Four Leaf says, "I don't know what it's called, just the sound that it makes when it takes a man's life." He's trying so hard to be this grizzled veteran. It's hilarious.
"I don't need a weapon. I was born one."
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
I know.
He's one of those.
Yeah.
Cody then tries to radio Cockburn, but no answer. As the scene jumps back to Speedman finding the burnt up radio, and he's still trying to convince everybody that it's all fake, and asks can they move so they can do some of the scenes. As they're going over the scene, the guerrilla troop is moving in on them. Portnoy stumbles back to the group and is acting kind of funny, but everybody falls into character doing their lines. But Lazarus is still back with the pieces of Cockburn, telling everybody like, hey, this motherfucker is dead, man.
Yeah, there's little bits of him all over the ground.
As Speedman and Lazarus are arguing, the guerrilla troops then begin firing. Lazarus ducks, and Speedman doesn't believe it's real, so Lazarus tackles him down so he doesn't get shot. Speedman says it's all part of the script, but Sandusky says this feels kind of real, and he says that's the point, use it. He jumps up with his gun and then starts firing these blanks all action movie style. He tucks the gun under his armpit and he has one hand fully extended out and he's just firing it.
At this point, he's almost in a Jesus Christ pose. I mean, and he's shooting people. It was so...
he's shooting blanks.
I mean, yes, but it's so over the top. And it's Hollywood. I mean...
Yeah.
Again, it's a parody on Hollywood, and it's so good.
Which this prompts everybody else to join, as Speedman then throws a dummy grenade, which happens to line up with the time that Cody thinks they should blow some C4 in the tree line. So he throws this grenade, it lands, the guerrilla troops see it, they scatter because they think it's a real grenade, and then the C4 just happens to go off right near the grenade where it looks like the grenade goes off.
Right. Okay. There was a point where Cody is talking to Four Leaf before he sets the detonation off.
Yeah.
And he gets like, "Yeah, I respect you, veterans." And he's like, I lost a finger, and they show it. He's got this horrible prosthetic on his pinky. He said he lost his pinky working on the set of Driving Miss Daisy on the first day.
On the first day.
There's no pyro in Driving Miss Daisy. I laughed so freaking hard at that. Driving Miss Daisy. I was like, you couldn't have picked a perfect movie to not
Jesus.
have your finger blown off on.
Everyone thinks it's part of the movie. So Speedman says, cut. That's a part of the trailer, and everybody gets excited. He then gets everybody to move north so they can film more scenes, and he loads his gun and he says, load and lock. Instead of lock and load.
Yes.
Shows them moving, making their way through the jungle, all action movie like. Scene cuts back to Cody and Four Leaf trying to radio Cockburn again and getting worried that they're not getting an answer back. Cody says they're going back to check on him. Scene cuts back to the jungle, and Portnoy is trying to do some drugs that he smuggled in a jelly bean bag. And Sandusky comes up behind him, kind of startles him, and he spills most of it on the ground. He rolls it up and puts it away. As they walk, Speedman and Lazarus talk about how Speedman kind of messed up on some of his movies. More importantly, Simple Jack. He says, man, you went too deep into the character. You went full special needs. You don't go full special needs. You never go full special needs. He's like, what do you mean you don't go full special needs? He's like, look at Rain Man. Special needs, can count cards, didn't go full special needs. And then he lists a couple other movies. It is an interesting part for that time, but it is important for the movie later on, surprisingly.
All right. So every time MJ here is saying special needs, they're dropping the hard R.
Hard.
Like, over and over, and just to be offensive.
Yes.
And that's the only reason they're doing it. So help me God, I laughed.
Me too. So hard. So hard. Scene cuts to Four Leaf and Cody finding Cockburn's now blown up body. Four Leaf tries to blame it on Cody, but Cody says that he only rigged the tree line. Four Leaf says they need to bag and tag him and get him back to the hotel while still trying to blame Cody. As they argue and Cody grabs on to Four Leaf, he accidentally snatches off his claws and reveals that his hands were never actually blown up. As Four Leaf goes to explain, the gorilla troop captures them.
That's when he brings up the point. I almost blinded Jamie Lee Curtis in the movie Freaky Friday. It's a Disney movie.
I'm like, what pyro was on Freaky
There's
Friday?
You know what? We may have to cover this movie just to see if there's some pyro.
and Driving Miss Daisy.
And no, we're not
Patreon episode.
We're not
Patreon episode.
Patreon. Yeah. We'll make it funny. But you're going to have to pay for it because we're going to have to pay for it.
You ain't lying, baby. Scene jumps to Speedman and the men, and they're taking a little break. Portnoy is freaking out because of his lack of drugs, and he tries to take some of these drugs, but a bat flies in and snatches the bag out of his hand and flies away. Portnoy freaks out and starts chasing it. Sandusky tries to go and pee. Lazarus comes over, telling him that he doesn't think Speedman knows where he's going, and he's going to get us lost. Speedman sees this, so as Lazarus walks away, Speedman comes over and pretends to pee but has to talk to Sandusky. He says that he thinks that Lazarus is tanking the movie, and unless they stick together, it's going to be a flop. And he thinks there's a Teen Choice Award in there for him. That he's going to get slimed and everything.
That was such an asshole thing to
so
say.
So condescending. Yeah. Sandusky asks to look at the map, but Speedman says he'll handle the map. As Speedman walks away, the bat plops onto a rock from ODing from eating these drugs, and Portnoy snatches him up and says, "I OD'd," and bites into him trying to get some of the drugs out. The men are fucking like, what the hell is going on? And Portnoy says, I'm out of jelly beans drugs.
Because he had it in a jelly bean bag. But earlier, when the bat steals his drugs and he's running after it, the one guy goes, "Hey, you want to bust a nut bar?" He yells, "Go to hell!"
Scene jumps to Cody flying the chopper as the gorilla tells him to land in the camp at gunpoint. Scene jumps back to the men in the jungle, and they come to this river, and Speedman says, "Hey, we have to cross this river," but everybody doesn't want to. Lazarus gets close to Speedman by pretending he wants to, gain some weight and that Speedman looks good, and he snatches the map off of him and he gives it to Sandusky. He says, "We're just getting a second opinion, Doc." And Sandusky looks over the map and says, "Shit, we've been going the wrong way the whole time." Speedman then decides to go off on his own because he reads it from the screen list. He thinks it's a part of the movie, but everybody else decides to stay with Lazarus.
Is this at the part yet where Robert Downey Jr. says, "You people"?
Yes. He goes, well, how that's properly set up, because it's properly set up, okay?
Okay.
Ben Stiller has the map. Robert Downey Jr. gets close to him, gets the map, and then he goes, "Oh gosh, you people," meaning like you actors.
Right.
And Robert Downey Jr. goes, "Whoa, what do you mean, you people?" And then Chino goes, "What do you mean, you people?"
That was clever.
It was very well written. Yes, very well written.
Clever as shit.
It's really a good scene.
I mean, it is offensive, but it almost makes up for everything Robert Downey Jr. is doing
in this movie.
And he's like, "Why do you keep talking like this?" And he's like, "I don't know." He even says, "I'm not going to break character until I do the commentary on the DVD."
Bonus DVD.
That's like years later, man.
We then get a small montage of Speedman traveling in the jungle by himself as the men are traveling back to the landing zone. On the way back to the landing zone, Portnoy starts going through withdrawals and freaking out, and they realize they won't make it back to the landing zone in time, so they decide to make camp. Lazarus gets into character again, and Chino calls him out once again. He says, "Y'all be lucky. I was, before the war, I was a saucier in San Ote." And he's just like, "I'll do this, y'all, and this, y'all." And Chino comes up to him and he says, "We don't talk like that." He said, "We don't talk like that. And you're Australian. Be Australian." And then he kangaroo hops past.
Yes.
Scene jumps to Speedman under this makeshift tent in the rain, and he's watching Star Trek on an iPod.
His tent is mostly made of magazine pages.
He then hears a ruffling in the trees, and out of nowhere, something comes and attacks him, but Speedman counters and just starts stabbing until it dies, and then he looks down, and it's a panda. And then he throws his hands to the sky, and he yells, "No!" It's so fucking dramatic. It's hilarious. Scene jumps to Cody and Four Leaf tied up. Cody asked where they were, but Four Leaf says he doesn't know. He's never been out of the States. And he was military, a Coast Guard sanitation department. Four Leaf says he wrote the book as a tribute, and he's a patriot. But Cody says, yeah, you're the Milli Vanilli of patriots. I fucking fell out, dude.
Yes.
Oh my God.
He's never seen action in his life. He's
All the way up until this point, we can't stress, he's trying to play this grizzled, war-ridden veteran that's been through the shit, and his hands have been blown off, and
they're making an entire movie about this man.
and none of it is true.
None. That's Hollywood, man.
Amen, baby. Scene cuts to Speedman wearing the panda head on his head as if it's a bear skin.
He cut it off at the jaw, and he's wearing it like a helmet.
He gets a call on the satellite phone from Peck. He answers it and says he killed the one thing he loved most in the world. And Peck says, oh my God, a hooker. And he says, no, a panda. Peck says, shit, you scared me. They start talking, and he asks about the TiVo again. And Speedman says, man, I'm past TiVo. But the last time I checked, they hadn't hooked it up. And Peck gets pissed. As Speedman is on the phone with Peck, gorillas sneak up behind him and capture him, and Peck thinks it's another agent. These scenes you think are like stupid fill-ins, but they come back and play so much later in the movie. It's so good.
No, absolutely.
It's written so well. Scene cuts to Portnoy, and he's going through these crazy hardcore withdrawals, and everybody's standing around him looking at him. He tries to crawl over and drink from this dirty river, but Sandusky stops him and asks Chino for a booty sweat. Lazarus then says, yeah, give him some of Chino's ass water. That'll get him up and going. Chino and Lazarus get into this little back and forth. And Lazarus slaps Chino. Chino goes to throw a punch, but Lazarus catches it and pulls him into a hug. He then starts whispering in his ear the theme song to the Jeffersons. Chino pushes away and says, man, that's the theme song to the Jeffersons. Lazarus says, just because it's the theme song don't make it not true. I fucking fell out. Yes. Oh my God.
Yes. Yes.
Portnoy then sees this bull and tries to approach it. Lazarus says, shit, since he wants to touch it so damn bad, tie him to it. We get into this landing zone. Scene cuts to the camp, and they're bringing in Speedman, and he believes that it's all a scene from the movie. So he tries to retake a line, but he gets into this spitting match with a gorilla, not to be confused with a dick throwing contest. No. Scene jumps to the men letting Portnoy off of the bull so that he can throw up. And as he's throwing up, he looks over the tree line and he sees the camp. Sandusky tells him that that's not a part of the scene, but it's a drug camp. He then sees Speedman being tortured, dunked in water up and down. Fucking hilarious. Scene jumps to the gorillas carrying Speedman to go meet the boss. The boss is a boy who couldn't be no more than about 13 years old.
And you know what he's doing?
Smoking a cigar.
He's smoking a goddamn cigar.
He says Speedman is trespassing in his poppy fields and that he's DEA scum. He then begins to beat Speedman with this stick, and Speedman stutters. He says, please don't hit me. And the boy stops, and he goes, Simple Jack. And everybody in the camp is stunned. They all kneel to Speedman. The boy then explains they don't have much entertainment come their way, but they somehow have a copy of Simple Jack, and they have watched it countless times, so they know he is Simple Jack. He then tells Speedman, hey, we're keeping you now. You are worth way much more money now.
He was so offended because they had it on VHS.
Yes,
They're
yes, yes.
they are because
Scene cuts to Peck going to see Grossman in his office to go over the contract obligations for Speedman and his fucking TiVo. But Grossman tells him to leave before he snaps off his dick and shoves it up his own ass.
he's he's so worried that he's gonna lose his only client that he's so transfixed on the whole TiVo.
Peck then gets a call from Speedman and puts it on speaker and says, Grossman will tell you why he's null and voiding your TiVo, but it's actually a gorilla on the other end. And he says, we have Speedman and we want $50 million. Peck thinks it's another agent, but Grossman cusses him out and hangs up.
It's the best ransom call ever.
Scene cuts to later that night, and Speedman is now being forced to act out Simple Jack for the whole camp. Scene jumps to the men, and they are trying to come up with a plan to save Speedman. After a terrible plan from Portnoy, Sandusky suggests
Oh, come on. It was a great one.
All right, so his plan was to build catapults, launch themselves over the wall, and parachute down.
But do you remember how he got the idea for the catapult? It was in a movie on Skinamax. They made a catapult out of sticks and underwear. That was fucking hilarious.
Sandusky then suggests that, okay, we'll just do it like the book. But nobody has read the book. He said, all right, that's fine. Because the book is just like the script. But no one has read the script. Sandusky goes over the plan. Chino says, yeah, but they're trained soldiers. And Lazarus says, and we're trained actors, motherfucker. And they plan to go save Speedman. I thought that was so hilarious. They have no bullets. They have no real weapons. They have no training in the military. But they are going to go save Speedman.
With the power of acting.
Scene jumps back to Grossman's office where he's trying to track where the call came from. They tell him that the call came from a drug camp in Asia. Peck gets another phone call and it's Speedman. They pick it up, and it's the gorillas again, and he says, since you didn't pay the first time, now we want $100 million. Grossman just says, go fuck yourself, and hangs up, and says, we don't negotiate with terrorists. And everyone in the room but Peck begins this clap.
Just a round of applause goes to just Hollywood suck-ups, man.
Peck stresses that, hey man, they're going to kill him, but nobody in the room seems to care. Grossman then lets him know that they're going to let him die for financial gain. He's worth more dead than alive. He then starts dancing to apple-bottom jeans while trying to bribe Peck, and it is the funniest shit in the world. Scene cuts to Speedman playing Simple Jack again, and Lazarus and Chino are scouting the camp from this hillside, and they see him performing it, and Chino goes, damn, I thought this movie was bad in the movie. Scene jumps to Portnoy telling Sandusky that he doesn't want to go into the drug camp because he knows he's just going to try and do as much drugs as he can, and that the only way that they can do this mission is by strapping him to a tree. Scene cuts to Chino and Lazarus, and they see the gorillas moving Speedman and where they're keeping him. They come up with this plan, and they go back to the others. Scene jumps to Speedman winding down after his performance, and a child comes in and gives him this stick figure, and he adopts the boy somehow. He renames him to Half Squat, and he now has a son.
Half Squat. What was the Indiana Jones kid? Short Round.
Oh,
So I think that's
correlation,
yeah.
correlation,
I'm
baby.
pretty sure that's a takeoff on that.
Scene jumps to Peck, and he is feeling messed up about leaving Speedman for dead. Scene cuts to Sandusky and the men, and they have Portnoy strapped to a tree. The guys are kind of talking about life back at home as if they were really in the military, and they're talking about their love lives. And Chino brings up his love, Lance, and everybody is, what the fuck, Lance? And Lazarus says, it's all right, man. Everybody's gay every once in a while. Chino shuts it down and says, man, we need to focus on saving Speedman.
And he was so serious.
He was. Come on, man. Everybody's gay every once in a while. Scene jumps to Lazarus in disguise with Portnoy strapped to the bull, and they have him covered up. Chino and Sandusky are sneaking into the camp via river. Lazarus gets to the gate. He offers up Portnoy and says he was in the poppy fields. He might be DEA. And they take him to go meet the boss. He sees Chino and Sandusky getting into position. As he's talking gibberish to these gorillas, Chino and Sandusky split up to find Speedman. Chino gets into a hut and finds Cody and Four Leaf. Remember them? They're still tied up. Chino frees them, and they start to blame each other, but Chino tells them that, hey man, Cockburn stepped on a landmine. Neither one of you dumbasses did it. Scene jumps to the boss of the gorillas, and he's talking to Lazarus. As they cut Portnoy off of the bull, the scene jumps back to Cody getting his hands on some C4. Lazarus tells the boss that he's going back to his poppy fields, but he first told them that they were rice fields. The boss catches this and becomes suspicious and points his gun. Lazarus then whips out 2 assault rifles and firing these blanks into the crowd, but it makes the noise, so everybody scatters. Sandusky pops out of cover and uses his gun like a bat and beats up a man that's dressed for Speedman's play. Portnoy frees himself, and Chino pops out of the hut firing his blanks. After he fires all these blanks, Lazarus then crosses the guns across his body and does this awesome action hero pose, and he says, I'm a lead farmer, motherfucker. And Portnoy literally pulls a gun out of his ass because he's wearing tidy greenies.
He had to reach so far up his underwear to pull that gun out.
It was fantastic.
It was
funny.
offensive.
Portnoy snatches up the boss and makes him show him where the drugs are. They enter this hut, and there's an old woman in there, and he makes them take off her clothes. Everybody else sticks to the plan. Lazarus and Sandusky then begin searching huts looking for Speedman as Chino keeps the gorillas face down on the ground. Scene jumps to Cody and Four Leaf, and Cody gives Four Leaf a flamethrower, and Four Leaf goes, what is this? Cody goes, I don't know. I only know the sound it makes when it lies. This movie is so good. Scene jumps to Portnoy with the boss, and he's struggling to get this old woman's robes on because, like I said, he's in tidy greenies. Scene jumps to Lazarus still clearing huts when he finally finds Speedman, and he tells him, hey man, we're here to take you home. Speedman says he's doing 5 shows a day. I am home. Lazarus sees that he's kind of out of his mind and tries to talk to him. Scene jumps to Portnoy and the boss, who is a child, keep in mind, and this child beats the shit out of Portnoy for like 5 minutes. It's
Yeah.
so funny.
It's good stuff.
Chino is trying to keep crowd control, but one of the gorillas grows some balls and gets up and grabs the gun, forcing Chino into cover. Four Leaf and Cody move into action. Scene jumps back to Portnoy, still getting his ass kicked by this child boss, and he gets pissed and tackles the boy over a rail to the ground, and the boy hits his head and knocks him out. He then looks up and sees a pile of drugs that would make Scarface blush. It is amazing. Scene jumps to Chino pinned down by the gorillas, firing real bullets at him. As he goes to run, Cody and Four Leaf slip behind the gorillas. They're throwing smoke bombs and slingshotting real grenades and save Chino. Scene jumps to Portnoy about to do a shit ton of drugs, but Sandusky busts in and says, "Hey man, stop." As Portnoy and Sandusky are talking, he has 2 handfuls of drugs and 2 gorillas bust into the hut. With his hands raised, Portnoy lets out a nervous little fart, which makes the gorilla guards laugh. And this pisses Portnoy off, and he rushes the gorillas and shoves the drugs in their face. And they go down, and he says, "Come on, man, we got to move. We only got like 16 hours until they wake up."
His whole thing was he felt like he was a hack because all his movies were just fart jokes. So
yeah.
when he finally farted in front of the bad guys and they laughed at him, he lost his shit. And he just shoved tons of heroin in their faces.
Scene jumps back to Chino, and he's in this one-sided gunfight because they're firing real bullets, and he does not have any real bullets. As a gorilla sounds the alarm, Cody and Four Leaf come up with this plan to help. Scene jumps to Sandusky finding Lazarus and Speedman, and Lazarus is trying to talk Speedman down. He goes to say, "I'm Tug," and Speedman says, "I'm Tug," and he says, "Good, man, what's your last name?" And he goes, "I don't know, who are you?" And he goes, "I know who I am, man. I'm the dude playing the dude disguised as another dude. You the dude that don't know what dude he is."
And it didn't end there. They kept saying "dude" over and over again after that.
Speedman then gets into Lazarus's head and causes him to break character and start shedding all his other characters, causing a mental breakdown. He even rips out the eye contacts. He is now a black man with blonde hair and piercing blue eyes. Oh my God.
Yes.
And he's now dropped the accent and he speaks Australian.
Okay, so earlier we were talking about how it was like he was permanently black.
Yeah.
No, at this point he's white from like his jawline up.
It starts to fade out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's starting to fade out.
Sandusky and Chino try to pep talk them and so they can escape. But Speedman won't snap out of it, so Sandusky says fuck it, snatches them up, and they go for a truck. Scene jumps to Cody rigging the bridge with C4. As they're getting away in this truck, the back gate swings open and Portnoy is hanging on for dear life as they speed past gorillas. Four Leaf sees this, jumps onto the truck, hangs onto the gate, and it shuts. And Portnoy is shocked that Four Leaf has now grown hands. The boss then steps out of this burning hut with an RPG and fires it at the truck. Everyone dives out but Sandusky because he's a little slow at realizing what's going on. Speedman wakes up kind of dazed. He sees the chaos around him. Sandusky is really hurt. And Portnoy is grabbing his ass. He's saying his ass is hurt.
My ass! My ass! He keeps yelling it I laughed so hard at that.
He finally snaps back to reality and jumps into action and helps everybody get to the chopper. As they're getting away, Speedman stops and tells Lazarus that he can talk these people down. He has a son now, Half Squat. And he said, who the fuck is Half Squat? And he said, Lazarus, you have to go tell the world what happened here. And Lazarus says, what happened here? And Speedman says, I don't know, but you have to tell him. I thought that fucking back and forth was hilarious.
The other thing that I love is every time somebody sees Four Leaf and he has hands, they're like, "You got hands! You got hands!" Like they keep saying that same line. It's so smart. It's smart comedy, man.
He runs back to the camp, but he comes running back as we hear gunfire behind him, and his son is strapped to his back, stabbing him in the back.
Yeah.
He tosses the boy aside off of the bridge. He goes into the water, and he hauls ass for the chopper as they blow the bridge.
When he throws this small child off of the bridge, it's so clearly a doll.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
But he gets caught in a blast, kind of gets blown away. The men think he's dead, but like in the movie set, Sandusky says, it's him. Speedman is in the distance, and he gets to do his platoon death. But he doesn't die. He just drops to his knees, throws his hands to the skies, and falls forward. Lazarus says, cover me, and everybody goes, what the fuck are we supposed to cover you with? And he goes after Speedman. He gets to Speedman, and they can finally do the cry scene that he couldn't do from the beginning as the camp approaches. As they get back to the chopper, they start to take off, but the boss aims and fires one more rocket at them. Out of nowhere, Peck runs out of the tree line, says, I got the TiVo, throws it up there, ricochets the missile and blows it up and blocks the missile from hitting the chopper. He fist pumps into the air and then runs back into the jungle.
Yes. The power of TiVo saved the day.
Scene jumps to Speedman finally winning his Oscar, and everybody's happy. And the movie ends, and the credits roll with Grossman dancing to Get Back by Ludacris.
It's a hell of a dance, man. Yeah.
They wrote this movie so well.
All right. It is.
They aimed for offense, and they said, we know how to counteract that a little bit. And it worked so well.
They definitely rode the line. I'm sure there were a billion people that were offended. But if you actually saw it for what it was, every offensive thing was defended.
Absolutely. And that was one of the biggest things about the movie. I think that's why so many people do accept it, is because, yes, there are offensive things, but they make you deal with those offensive things head on.
And the whole thing is a parody on Hollywood. I mean, so, yes, being offensive would be the right way to do this. And I think it was well done.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of hype about it, which probably made it harder for me when I watched it, because I probably expected more.
It's such a bold script and acting cast, and the way it was played out. I mean, this movie would not fly today. This movie would be
oh my God, no.
shot down. The jokes still hold up, I believe. The acting definitely still holds up. I mean, it's still a solid movie.
It was funny. It was predictable.
Very much so.
Yeah. But No, the characters, the actors, the cameos are
Yeah.
amazing. I forgot to say this, Tyra Banks, I apologize. You were in this movie as well.
For like 2 seconds.
It doesn't matter.
He
It's
goes,
Tyra Banks.
She goes, people close to you say that you're on the wrong side of 40. You're making crap movies. What do you say to that? And he goes, someone says they were close to me. I was like, oh my God, that is such a Hollywood fucking answer.
All right, everybody. I want to thank y'all for listening. We will be back next week with another epic episode. Also want to say we all love you for listening. And we can't thank y'all enough for coming back next week.